Today, I am going to teach you translation competence and translation skills. As you know, I am teaching basics of translation, professional translation. In this subject, we learn lots of things. Today, I am going to speak about translation competence and translation skills. As you know, competence is the main thing in everyday life, because without competence, we cannot perform, we cannot realize our wishes, our dreams, or we cannot go forward. That's why in real life, competence is important for everybody. Competence has great significance for everybody. Today, I'll teach you what is translation competence in the process of translation. So let's get started. As you know, we have, let's try to answer this question: what is competence? As you know, competence is a complex process, and in the process of translation, we should try to learn what is knowledge, what is skills and ability. When we say competence, we mean ability, skills, and some knowledge during the process of translation. In this lesson, I will teach you how we shall do it and what kind of functions do they have, or what things you are going to follow in the process of translation. Because competence breeds education and professional requirements. It has some requirements. As you know, we should take into consideration some personal components such as knowledge, motivation, attitudes of the person. Then we should take into consideration some social, cultural components, and as well as behavioral components of the student or of a translator. So in this process, we should have some translation competence functions. In this case, we should pay attention to some linguistic skills, because linguistic skills are necessary in the process of translation. And here, a translator must master both the source and target language perfectly. And if we speak about skills, every translator should know, should follow these 4 skills, such as listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Because when we have listening skills, we should hear and understand what people say. When we have speaking skills, we talk and share our thoughts with other people. In this case, if we have no reading skills well enough, we shouldn't use letters or words to create sentences or new ideas in the process of translation or in the process of interpretation. That's why we should follow all of these 4 skills. Writing, reading, speaking, and listening skills are very important in the process of translation. Then, if we have good linguistic skills, it will help us communicate better with people. So if we speak about competence, we should pay attention to cultural knowledge, because cultural knowledge is important in the process of translation. If we want to have a professional, to be a professional translator, we should acquire cultural knowledge, because we should understand cultural nuances that ensure the meaning of accurate meaning. And in this slide, I have some examples here, such as festivals, holidays, social etiquette, or history. We should have great knowledge on cultural knowledge. If we have enough knowledge on festivals, we shouldn't translate any material into another language, into target language. In this process, we should acquire some technological skills, because every translator should acquire necessary technological skills. Because modern translation often requires digital tools such as CAT and Google Translate or other facilities. Sometimes we should use some AI-generated artificial intelligence, but in this process, we should acquire some computer skills. That's why technological skills is very important in the process of translation competence. So there are different, if we classify translation competence, we should say that translation competence is very crucial in the process of work, because some people argue that competence cannot be defined, but others think that it will focus on language knowledge. But without other skills such as cultural knowledge or linguistic skills, as well as some technological skills, we cannot follow this translation competence efficiently, because every steps of this process should has its own importance, significance in this process. So, but some people think that we should recognize it, and it includes some multiple interconnected skills. So these skills are interrelated together with itself. That's why we should follow all these skills together. So we have some questions here. First of all, I would like to, you will pay attention what is competence, what components can we give as examples, or what can you say about linguistic skills as we mentioned before. And we have also cultural knowledge and then technological skills as well. So we have some translation competence. As you see from this slide, we have language competence, textual competence, then transverse competence, subject competence, and cultural competence. If we speak about these competencies, they have own importance, they have own significance in the process of translation, in the working process. We have, if we speak about language competence, we should pay attention knowledge of the source and target language together with its structures. But when we mean textual competence, we should understand genres and text kinds, conventions in this process. When we speak about subject competence, we should pay attention knowledge of domains, specifically terminology. We should know terminology. If we have text on economics, we should pay attention economic vocabulary. If we have medical terms, we should pay attention terminology specifically in this process. When we say cultural competence, we should be aware of cultural nuance and expressions in everyday life. When we have transfer competence, we should have the ability to carry meaning from source language to target language efficiently and significantly, because this process is much more difficult. If we pay attention all of them, I will say that transfer competence is the best and the most difficult one to carry out, because in this case you have some capability to translate one word, one meaning from source language to the other target language efficiently. Here we have a schedule. In this schedule I have shown language competence. It has some functions, as you know from this slide. We have expressive function, then informative function, and vocative function. From this schedule, you may think out that translators must master both source and target language together, because language competence covers all levels, such as words, phrases, clauses, sentences, as well as discourse. In this schedule, in the table, you will see that language competence requires some grammatical competence as well as vocabulary, morphology, syntax, then phonology. Then if we mean textual competence, we should pay attention, cohesion, rhetorical organization, and other things together. Then if we want to speak about social linguistic competence, we should be sensitive to dialect or variety, we should be sensitive to register, we should be sensitive to being natural, we should have ability to interpret cultural references and figures of our speech. So if we speak about functions, when we have expressive function, in this case, we should show our feelings and emotions together with other knowledge. If we have informative function, we try to give information or explain something in details, in facts. If we have vocative function, we should address or call someone, for example, hey, come here, etc. Then, when we speak about textual competence, we should recognize text types. As you see from this schedule, I have given some examples here, because recognizing text types helps to choose the right translation style. There are different types, for example, formal letter, email, stories, articles, reports, and short explanations. All these forms, textual competence, you shouldn't use the same textual competence, because if we have formal letter, we should know where to write greetings or main ideas, or how to close our formal letter. If we have email, we should include a subject line, then introduction, main content, and polite closing here. If we have story, we should structure the beginning and development of events and ending properly. While writing articles, we should recognize and use the title, introduction, main part, and conclusion sections and references here. Besides it, if we try to write some reports, we should organize our purpose beforehand. We should pay attention data, results, and recommendation sections especially. While having short explanation, we should try to do that textual competence in the ability to understand the structure and conventions of different texts. And in this process, we have some examples, and in this process, we should pay attention genres of the text in order to prevent misunderstanding. If we don't follow genres, if we don't know what type of text it is, we have some misunderstandings in the process, in the translation process. So translators are the main mediators between source text originator and target text reader together with it. So in this schedule, I have some information about subject competence. As you see from this slide, when we speak about subject competence, we have some knowledge about target language, we have some knowledge about source language, then we should know nature of professional culture, because the culture is a main and crucial point while translating any kind of material. Here we should pay attention, if we have subject competence, we should pay attention, knowledge of the specific fields. It is essential for accurate translation. We should follow each discipline together. We should pay attention, they are being unique. We have unique vocabulary, because it ensures that text function together that it remains. So we have example. If we have subject competence, we should say some examples. Knowing legal terminology in a law text, we should know what is contract, what is liability, how do we use these words in our context. If we have medical text, you should know how to understand terms like diagnosis, symptoms, treatment, etc. If we have business text, we should know words like profit, investment, shareholder, and etc. So subject competence has its own difficult challenge, because you should have great terminology. You should know lots of terminology in this field. If you are unaware of this terminology, it is difficult to overcome this kind of subject competence. So, when we speak about cultural competence, as you see from this slide, we have some examples here, because cultural competence helps us to reflect culture and social conventions, and it helps us to maintain some intended meanings. For example, we have some understanding greetings in different cultures. In Japan, bowing is common, but while greeting in the USA, we have handshake as well. So we should know some holiday traditions, example, celebrating Christmas in English-speaking countries, or we should understand social etiquette while speaking. For example, we may say, please, thank you, if appropriately. So cultural competence helps us to do it, but some techniques like borrowings fill gaps when exact equivalents don't exist. We have some difficulties in this process. We should follow some transfer competence in this case. So, when we speak about transfer competence, we should ensure the message that conveyed accurately, because it requires both linguistic and non-linguistic factors, non-linguistic knowledge. So, non-linguistic knowledge. While speaking about transfer competence, we should say it is crucial during the actual translation process. We have some peculiarities such as using learning strategies, some inquiries. We have also combined knowledge, understanding skills, learning new technologies, new methods, techniques, etc. So we have some discussion questions here. In this slide, I have given these questions to you. You will look through and try to answer these questions. Then we have some answers here. It's my subjective ideas, but you will give extra answers if you want in this process. I don't want to read this one. You will look through and you will compare your own answers with my own answers. Then, in this schedule, I have given different kinds of pictures. In these pictures, you will say it is, for example, it is subject competence, or it is if it is subject competence, if it is language competence, or cultural competence. In this picture, I mean this one, if you see here, you may say that in this picture there are two leaders meeting. In this meeting, you may say that it is cultural competence. Yeah, we have different examples. We have emails, then we have motivation letters, and so on, stories. And in this lecture, I have tried to explain types of translation competence, and I think that everything is clear for you. And from this picture, you have seen what types of translation competence we have, and professional translators should follow these rules while performing their translation passage to translation works. So I am concluding my lecture. Thanks for your attention.